What's going on, guys? TD Wells here, founder of Wells Media AI, and I am strategically going over some things in the dealership world, and I just want to share all the things that I've plugged into in the last 4 days, and I want to intro you guys into some of the things that just the basic, well, actually really a full tutorial and understanding of how you would take one or actually all of your vehicles and the vehicles that you want to move the quickest, or any vehicle that you want to basically move or unit you'd like to move that has been sitting on your floor plan, or it's again, you just want to market it and be able to get people to respond. Now, you remember, you have to absolutely target your ideal client. And I'm just going to use Toyota, for example, but that could be any brand. It doesn't really matter. So here's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to share this piece with you. So give me a second, and I'm going to share the screen. All right. So hold on. Let's share that screen. Hope you all are doing amazing. And these are all of the successful things that I would like to plug into today. So here we go. Now, I'm just going to share the system that you can use. Now, you could use basically any software you want or any system to build a website. It's basically what we would call a landing page, or a page that is still could be approved by your manufacturer. It's just you being able to collect data on your own without interfering or having any of outside vendors or anything like that interfere with your data, right? Because that's ultimately what you want. You want to own your data. You want that data to be yours, sheerly yours, and not to be sold to 3, 4, 5, or unless you want that. That's up to you. Now, again, this is what a lot of the large giants are doing out there, basically just using your funding. And I'm not knocking anyone, because obviously most dealerships are going to need, whether you're a one-man, two-man operation, all the way up to thousands of people operating underneath your brand and your franchise. I'm just one person here explaining what I've learned over the 3 decades. And I understand VAUTO. I get VAUTO is a very amazing tool. A lot of people don't know about it, as I've literally had my own, and I've also ran pre-owned departments, or been a part of pre-owned departments as well. So I get the VAUTO piece. Yes, you can use the 85% model. You can look at a lot of the traction that's going on for one specific car. So this would actually be very helpful if you do understand VAUTO, and you can just take all of those vehicles that we know are selling in the market. I don't know. I would say that probably a lot of people are manipulating VAUTO, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that it's because they want to throw the competitor off, right? So they might put it in, which actually is kind of silly in a sense, but that's just what happens in our market. So I would say that if you have that data, I'm a big nerd when it comes to data analytics. It's very, very critical. And I would tell you that if you don't understand the data and the metrics behind what sells the quickest and how to sell that, right? Because really it's about conversion. You can see the metrics, and it'll tell you, hey, yeah, in VAUTO, here's what's selling. You might use another tool. I don't know. I'm just using VAUTO because that just seems what I believe what most dealerships are using, even some smaller ones. And I know it's really, really costly, but not really. So here's what I'm going to share with you today. So basically, I am going to give you an understanding, and I'm going to go ahead and pull over my screen so that I'm working and looking directly into the camera for you guys. So what's happening here is you can take a click funnels or any kind of like landing page. I don't have any issues. Like I said, I live in 100% abundance. I don't care about sharing this information. And some people may already know and may have their opinions about how to build this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it very simple, but this is just a Toyota brand. So if you have any kind of web skills or anything like that, or someone that has those, but I would highly suggest that you understand how web development in a sense works, right? Because if that's really important to know, like, okay, yeah, we need to use this metric to understand how to sell this specific Toyota. So what I did is I just used these brands here. Now I know that's not a Toyota brand, but you get the gist, right? So we could absolutely go and change this to a Toyota brand if you wanted to. And what we would do is we would just kind of go into upload from well, we don't want to upload it from media library, but let's just say I can go to a web. I'm going to find, I'm going to share my tab over here. Let's say I'm going to go find a Toyota image. Okay. I'm just using Toyota images for now. And let's,
So obviously what's going to happen is you can actually change this to whatever you like. All right. So let's go ahead and let me show you that. Let me share that screen with you so that you can see what I'm talking about. So this right here will be able to come out of here. Okay. So you can just go ahead and pop in a Toyota logo or whatever your logo is that you want to take from here. So as I was saying, I was searching. Okay. When I was going to search, I was actually looking for something very specific. So let me go back to that and tell you what I'm looking for. Okay, so if I wanted to, now obviously we have Toyotas up here. Okay, so I would say that's what I was looking for, but these don't appear to be a Toyota. So what we can do is I'm going to share this tab and I'm going to go look for Toyota. Okay, so Toyota vehicles for sale or for, let's just call it images. Okay, and this is how I would do it, or at least one way. And then I would just kind of take this photo or any of these photos, like image based photos. So let's see here. I mean, you might be able to use something like, let's just say images in 3, like that. Okay, so something like this would be pretty helpful. So we're just going to save it to the download section here. All right. And then what's going to happen is that we are now going to go back to this here, okay? And we're just going to you just got to have a little bit of skill, a little, to understand this. However, most people can just hire somebody to do it, and they will do it. But what my point I'm trying to make is that owning your data, being able to just have multiple sites, basically as many as you possibly can for your specific dealership, franchise, whatever. If you're running that, you could just tell somebody, hey, I need you to go and do it this way. And this is, so what you want to do is you're going to, I'm just telling you, kind of just trying to give some basic detail, excuse me. And so what I would do is I would take this photo and I would just upload that image from here. Okay. So we're going to take that image and we're going to put it right in there. Okay. And we're going to say pick a vehicle. So there we are now. We want to make it a little bit bigger. If you want to, you can. And there's ways to do that inside of the padding there. But for now, we're just going to leave it like that. Okay. And like I said, if you want to make it bigger, you're just going to change it right in here in the pixel section. Okay. Also, we can change this. It's like what type of vehicle. So you can just change these out if you like and make those. But you can, like I said, you can make those a Toyota. So that way it's streamlined. Okay. Now, this is where I would actually send people to this site. So let's just go ahead, and if we're running a credit-based campaign, or if we just want to get people to fill out a form that pretty much took time to fill out, that's the ultimate goal. And that's what we're doing over here is I'm just going to save this for now. And I'm not going to I'm just going to save it here. Now, what I wanted to do is I want to show you what it will look like when I share the tab. So here it is now. It's Toyota, right? It text us, put the number up there. And then you have your image and you can just change these out accordingly. But let's just say the person's going to go through and they're going to be looking for a truck. Again, you can change these questions. You can say, how much do you have down? You could even change it to minimum to be 1,000 if you want, or 5, but I would just leave it as a generic. Okay, I got about 2 grand down and I want my monthly payments. Everybody wants to be 350, right? And then you want to trade it in. So you want to hit yes, or do you have a trade in? I should say. I'm going to say, I'll say Toyota 4Runner, something like that. And we're going to hit next. And then it says, hey, do you have any employment, right? Just I'm giving you all the goodies here. What is the length of your employment? I'm looking over at this screen because that's the screen that has the where I'm making all the changes. And so basically, I'm going to say I got 3+ years, right? We're going to make this one a good one. $3,500. I got a mortgage, and let's say I've lived in that residence for 3 years. I have repossession, never. Let's just say I have over excellent credit, and then I'm going to put in the information, fill out the info, right? And that's ultimately where you're going to grab all of the details. Now, after they're done, you can send them wherever you want, but you now have collected their data. It's yours. You own it. That's the point I'm making here. Okay. Now, let's say people are going to this site and they see this page right here. Okay. They see this information. What's going to happen is that you would be able to just take this link. Okay. And you just copy and paste the link over here. And you're going to use that link if you have a domain name and you're forwarding people to that specific domain name. That's pretty much where you're going to determine on what your domain name should be and if you need to get that approved or by anybody, by the manufacturer or whatever you want to do. But it does say Toyota. It's not an actual site, so to speak, that maybe that would be that you would have like vendor relationships with, right? But it's actually something that you create internally so that you can drive more data, more leads into your and more conversions into your pipeline, ultimately leading to right conversions and sales, because conversions would be that they convert it to something. Ultimately, hopefully, I would say they convert it into a sale, because that's what obviously that's what every business wants, is to have conversions, not just clicks, right? Because that, we can get clicks on it, but people are going to bounce. So we want to be able to identify that. Now, what I will do is I will take that link that I just have up here, for example, and I'm going to take that link and I'm going to copy and paste it real quick. But you just can't see it right now, but I'll show it to you shortly. And what's going to happen from here is I am going to take the link and I'm going to use that link to promote or market or wherever I want to share that link, so that people will know what what to click on, right? So meaning that I'm going to drive traffic, the proper traffic to that business. Okay. So here I'm going to share this with you. So you have to kind of select on what you want it to be. Do you want it to be, hang on for a second. Do you want it to be that you want traffic to send people to your website? Well, that's what we're already doing, right? That's what most dealerships are doing. It's just sending people to their site, hoping that they're going to convert. Now, I would imagine if you're a little bit more sophisticated in your data and your analytics, then you're tracking who's going to your site. Not only that, hopefully the vendor isn't tracking that, because I was just talking with a dealer, and they didn't have access to see the body of their HTML. They didn't have access to it, meaning they couldn't even put a pixel there to track who's going to the site and who's not, or who's leaving, or whatever the case may be, and how many leads are converting based on that pixel, like tracking code. So with that being said, I would avoid in this particular case traffic. I could use a lead form that could be pretty good. But if you don't have a conversion pixel, that's another topic. If you don't have one, then you would probably need to use that lead form, because you would need to have one to be able to use a conversion pixel. Okay. So we're going to go down here. We're going to click on lead. If you have a product, which you guys do, is that you would want to, hey, say, have people find people who are likely to purchase your product, but you need a pixel for that as well. So that I'm just going to use a conversion pixel for now, so that way I can track everything that's happening. Now, if you go back to the day 4 or the prior video, you'll see that there's conversions in there, and it tells us like it gives us all the tracking analytics and metrics, so that we know exactly what that site and what's doing, and how many people went, if there was 100,000 people that it reached, that we convert at a good metric so to speak, right? So that's really what that is. So I'm going to take that link and I'm just going to post it in here. So now we have a link that's going to preview, which is going to give is going now we're going to have to pop a tracking code in this particular website or landing page, right? Because we need to track what's going on in that landing page. So you have to make sure that you have a pixel. And again, that's another story to show how to actually build one. But for now, you can just use lead forms. So we're just going to call this one Toyota campaign, Toyo campaign for now, number one. Okay, so this is the first one. And then we're going to allow, which I like to narrow down. I like the fact that it's got 544 people, and that we are going to remember. If you remember, we were focusing on Oklahoma in the past, so that's what that was. And we are going to. It says vehicle transportation, so these are all the keywords that it would be using. However, I think I'm going to remove all of those for now, and I'm going to say yes. And I'm just going to use some form of AI targeting for now. I'm going to let AI do it. This is going to be my first ad. I'm going to run two, though, in this particular case. And I'm going to go ahead and use that Toyota image, or I'm going to take a car from here. So let's go ahead and let's just take a car from here. So let's use this. And actually, you know what? I'm going to share the screen with you. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Google, because I want you guys to see everything that I'm doing. So there's total transparency. And I am going to look for a Toyota. Now I'm going to say that I've had this car for a long time, right? I'm just going to use this for an example. All right, so we're clicking on a 2024. Let's use this 2024 right here. And let's click on this $57,000 Forerunner, okay? And let's just say I've had the vehicle. It's a 2024, but let's say I've had it for, you know, the last, so, well, we're in June now, so the last 6 months, but we got it in, let's say we got it in back in November. Let's just say that, and that's still sitting on the lot. Now, obviously, we want to go ahead and save that, and so that we can actually showcase this vehicle. So I am going to go back to that section, and I'm just going to use this vehicle. Now I could use a carousel as well, so I can carousel this. But for now, I am going to use probably, I'm just going to use this one for now, the Forerunner. But I could actually upload, I can go ahead and put in multiple vehicles. So I can just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to use this Forerunner. It's going to load. I'm going to use this car for now. So let's go ahead and make it right. And then I'm going to use that Forerunner because I want to get rid of that Chrysler, because we're not a Chrysler dealership. But if you didn't want to do that and you just wanted to focus on getting rid of the Forerunner, then that would be the ideal situation. Okay, so let's get out of that real quick. And let's make that happen. And there we go. And let's save that for now. And there we go. So I'm just going to remove that because we're focusing on the Forerunner, so I don't want to distract anything. So here we are, right? Looking for a new ride, look no further than the new Jeep drive. Okay, so I'm going to change that, and I'm going to call this, again, it's a Toyota campaign. So all I'm doing is I'm just going to have it like kind of give us some details and insight, and I'm just going to generate something different here. So we want to generate a little bit different based on the link that we just used. And then we're going to change it from that we're a Chrysler dealership to now that we are looking for a new ride. Well, it still says that. So let's change it. Okay, we're going to call it a Toyota campaign, and we're going to give it a name down here. That's why. So we're going to call it Toyo Forerunner. Again, and these are just kind of like examples. Forerunner, and then we're going to name it Toyota uh, Drive Away. Toyota Drive Away. All right. Toyota. Let's call it Toyota Drive Away for now. Okay, that's fine. We're just going to give it a name here because I want to make sure that everyone understands that there it is. Toyota Drive Away is a reputable dealership. See, so I just gave it that name, but that's fine. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, and then this will basically change as well. So I'm going to rewrite all of that. And let's just generate some content based on what we just showed. Because I'm giving you the way to sell and move your units very rapidly and very quickly. And so again, I'm trying to tell you that, I've talked to a lot of dealers, I've talked to a lot of people, it still says that. But I want to delete all of this right here and take that out. And what I would like to do is let's just make sure that's accurate. Perfect. So we're going to generate the content. All right. So it's going to generate all of that stuff for me. So it's going to do all the work. So hang on. Okay. So basically what's happening here is that we went ahead and we showed you that it says looking for a reliable and stylish SUV. Look no further than Toyota Driveway. We specialize in the sale of a Toyo 4Runner. Okay. So we're just going to put this Toyota 4Runner, and we're gonna make because they named it Toyota. I called it Toyo. Remember that? So we're just gonna call it right here. But actually, that would be a kind of a cool way to like get people to go, oh wait, is it a Toyo? Is it right? Because I'm just kind of giving that some example there. So basically, what's happening is that we had uh, we had it built. AI built this for us. So we're going to go ahead and remove some of these items here, and that way we give it we give it our own kind of a touch, right? And we make sure that everything is accurate in the way that we want it to be. If you could look here, where audience is a really good size audience for that area, I would actually like to probably narrow it down a little bit more. So we're going to go into the targeting, and we're just going to narrow that down. Actually, let's clear out all of these, as I was saying before. And I'm just going to allow AI to touch on this, but actually, I'm going to eliminate a few more items here. And we're going to call it Toyota. Okay, I'm going to do this myself. So we're going to call it Toyota 4Runner. Okay, so there's the first one. And then we're just going to say SUV vehicles. And then we're going to put in one more Toyota 4Runner here. And we're going to say Toyota and 4x4. Oops. 4Runner 4x4. Okay. Well, that's not in there, but that's fine. So we get the point, right? 5 million here, 23 million there for SUVs. However, I'm going to take that out because I only want to look for people that. Now I can go ahead and I will use a very specific zip code. So let's just say we're focusing on Long Island. Okay. And I want to put in Hempstead, Long Island, right? I'm just using that for example. And let's just find the zip code for Hempstead. And let's put in the zip code for that area so that we could just kind of focus in there. So we're going to go 11549. I believe that the demographics for this would be 33 to, and it's probably going to be more male, but I'm going to leave it at both. And I'm going to focus on about a 50-mile radius of this zip code of people. Well, actually, I'm going to put it in here, though. I'm going to put that back in here. I'm going to put that we're focusing on that zip code and in this proximity. So here we are, right? And I'm going to move this over a little bit. So let's just go ahead and let's add it over here. And then we're going to focus. I just moved it, right? So I moved this one. And then I'm just going to take this zip code that I just used. And now we could see that it is focusing on that area. So I can just pick this area and I can go, I'm going to pick I'm just going to focus within a 3-mile radius of this, or actually I'm going to use 5. Okay, so I'm focusing on 5. Actually, let's get that out of there. Okay, wait a minute. Let's go 15. I think 15 is suitable. 25 is cool. All right, so let's take 25. Okay, go. So we're focused on the Garden City area. And what I did was it's in the water, but that's fine. That's not going to affect anything really, to be honest with you. But I will make it because some people that might bother. So I would just make it like an area like this. So hold on, let me put in 11509. Now, forgive me if I'm finagling a little bit, just honing in. And these are all things you're going to need to do as well. So I would just take this right here and I would just kind of go right in there. And I would focus on that area in a 25-mile radius. And that's fine. So we just said that's what we did. So we got 2 areas right in here. And we're now in the areas that we want to focus on. Okay. And we just make sure that all the placements are accurate. We're good to go. Enter a location. Okay. So we already did that. So we're focusing excuse me, 179,000. So that's great. That's really good news right there, is that that's going to be our focal point. And what's cool about this is that now I can go ahead and run this ad. Looking for a stylish SUV, Toyota Drive-Away. We specialize in the sale of a Toyota 4Runner. Boom. Right. And now we're just going to go and make it a $10 budget. But if you're serious about your budget, I would make it somewhere around $25 so that we could reach a nicer audience, larger audience, and we get more people or more eyeballs on that. Right. And that's ultimately it. I'm driving traffic to one car. If I wanted to make this 4 or 5 cars, I can. I can just go ahead and change it in the image section, just like anywhere else. But you can use, I would suggest using a system that I'm using. You can reach out to me and I'll show you exactly, I'll give you a demo of your specific dealership. I actually did a demo on at Manual Ads Manager, building the ad in Ads Manager without any AI. I would say the data inside of Facebook Ads Manager is not as accurate and as optimized as our system. So we can literally take this ad and we can optimize it. We can put it inside of our folder. We could totally optimize this ad so that way it's maximizing the spend, which I always say, if you're going to spend, it's going to be about, like I said, $20 to $20. However, I would say you could start out with about $12 for now, because that's a smaller audience, right? Because that audience is much smaller. But if it was a larger audience that you were trying to reach, then you obviously would want to spend more. But we're focusing on specific zip codes that will penetrate people that are looking for forerunners. Now, you could go back and use VAUTO, and you can track the analytics of where each person that purchased the vehicle that was a forerunner, that were like say older forerunners. So you can go back to your old data and VAuto track that, and then go, oh wait, we have there's I don't know, from 2020, there's probably 3,000 people that purchased a forerunner, talking about nationally. So you could look that up. And if you are a Toyota dealership, you can run a second campaign where you can literally track every forerunner buyer in the system. So we can show you how to do that and basically convert them, literally convert them like almost immediately. So those are all things that we help you with. And again, this is just something that I wanted to share because I really feel like it's important for people to know, and for dealerships to know that, hey, if you have an internal internet department, if you have a BDC, or if you don't have any of those, you could do it yourself literally, and you could use our system. It's proprietary, basically, that it will help you optimize and find the ideal client. You don't have to worry about VIN numbers or any of that. It knows. You just got to remember, a lot of people are afraid of Facebook because they think it doesn't work. That's so far from the truth. There's over 1 billion people on Facebook, and many of them are searching for cars, believe it or not, in the marketplace, right? They're looking for forerunners. So what's going to happen is that Facebook's going to know that, and they're going to show it to those people. But because we haven't optimized, our system is very optimized and integrated with Facebook to actually give you the proper metrics. That's what's going to be the major difference. And any dealership being able to penetrate a specific car that you've had on your lot, because that's the key, right? The key is moving your units quicker than every other dealership. And that's the part that I know works very effectively because I've used Viato for many, many years. I know most of the strategies internally inside of Viato, and I'm saying Viato is a good tool. I think a lot of people should be on it. However, I still think there is some forms of manipulation inside of Viato, but just like every other tool that's out there that could be manipulated by outside people or outside vendors that are using their system. However, what we're doing here is that we're actually taking very, very extreme metrics, and we're saying, okay, look at this car. We have 10 of them, and we can tell people we have 10 of them and specifically market to that demographic, and you will move those units instantaneously. All right. Hope that helped. Reach out to me, follow me, subscribe if you thought that this was on point, or if you have any suggestions and you have your own opinions about how you market your vehicles. If you're currently using vendors or third parties to basically capture your data. Not saying that's the wrong way. I'm saying maybe you don't have time to do it. However, if you just understood that it's not about what software you're using, it's about understanding the process and eliminating all of the things that are not working to get you the results that you really need ultimately. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Again, subscribe and tap on that button. I would love the way that Wells Media, myself actually will be able to put out more data, more information, and more of these videos is to basically have more people subscribe to it ultimately, right? That's what it's about. And I'm going to be demonstrating just about almost every industry that I've been in first and showing those industries how they can use the systems to basically drive their ideal client, not just tire kickers or people that are not looking right for a forerunner or just looking for an SUV, right? Because that would probably change the dynamic of the type of client that you're looking for. The same thing would go for mortgage and real estate, right? You would be looking for a specific type of client. So again, subscribe if you like this. I am not editing my videos. I'm just basically raw footage. There's no cuts, no takes, none of that stuff. I'm just straight up like just shooting from what I know and all the data that I've gathered. I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to data and analytics, so I love that piece. I love the number piece of the number part of every business, and I think that if you're able to use these strategies, man, you can certainly change. Not that you're not successful. I'm going to say this last part. Not that the dealers are not already successful. However, we want you to exceed your objective by 25, 30, 40, 50 plus units per month versus hitting that objective, which whatever that may be for a Kia, Honda, Mercedes, Porsche store, whatever that store may be. We need to help you exceed that and get rid of your old inventory using these very same strategies. And if you don't reach out to us, you can certainly take what I just showed you and implement it into your own business. Thanks, guys.